Today I'm going to be showing you guys my favorite offense in Madden 25. It's super fun, really unique, and it even has some nice plays that no other playbook really has. Using this scheme right here, taking my strategies, is just going to guarantee you to win even more games. Now you're going to find all these plays and formations right in the Seattle Seahawks playbook. I'm going to be using the Kansas City Chiefs for Hot Route Master. I feel like Hot Route Master is just too good not to use, and you don't have to have it, but like it's very useful to have. Now, the formation we are going to be starting off in is gun bunch tight end. You should be in gun bunch tight end every single time and audibling around to different formations. For your audibles, you want the whips play, you want the halfback off tackle, inside switch, and PA verticals. Now, when running this formation, I highly recommend having your bunch on the short end of the field. I feel like it's just better spacing and it helps with your corner routes. The first play we're going to be starting off in is whips right here. And the only adjustments you need to make is triangle on a streak and then square on a post. Now, this play is absolutely overpowered. The first reads are going to be your whip route, so circle and X, and then square over top to DeAndre Hopkins. Now, if it is man coverage, which it looks right here, I mean, one of these whips are going to be absolutely open, and against man, you're like going to have those whips open 100% of the time. And even against zones right here, as you can see, just he finds a nice spot right in between that linebacker and the safety. So once again, we're going to have triangle on a streak, square on a post. And as you can see, now Kelsey is just absolutely frying that guy, and he literally stands no chance. The whips are just that good. Now, if they guard too far up on circle and X right there, the whips, now you have that post running right over top for easy yards. Now, a lot of people, you know, when they have their user out on the field, they'll bite down on those whips, and that's when you can take the top off with that post route. The second play is the halfback off tackle right here. It's just a good run. I typically like to double team this outside guy right here. I don't think it really does much, but just to try to see if you can seal that edge with the lineman. Now, usually it's a lot better than that, but I just suck. When you are running this play, I highly recommend trying to run it to the wide side, but I'm not going to right here. As you can see, we seal the edge right here, and now we have a bunch of room to run. Now, that's enough for the run right here. Next play we got is inside switch. Here how it looks stock. I'd like to put triangle on a streak here and then X on a corner route. Now, your first reads are going to be the flat route to R1 and then X on that corner route, but then you have the backside post, which is hard to stop as well. If you want, you can put a hitch on circle, because sometimes, you know, the user will go with square on the post and then you have the hitch right underneath it. Or sometimes I like to playmaker the hitch, but let's just keep them on the flat for now. But if nothing's open right here, you can take your check down to Pacheco, get a few yards. But as you can see right here, Kelsey absolutely fries. Dude, I am getting screamed at, man. Come on, offensive line. All right, now, but for real, though, there we go. We got Kelsey right there, wide open, finally. It's open. I just get no time. I don't know what's going on. And then you can have this backside post as well. Boom. That was actually a perfect demonstration of the post. Now, my second setup for this right here is put an X on a streak, R1 on a wheel, and this post route right here with DeAndre Hopkins, I like to motion over. And look what it kind of turns into. It kind of turns into a corner route right now. And if X up the seam's open, I take him, but then R1 on the wheel supposedly should get open, but right there I have the corner route that time. So, or you have R1 Pacheco on the wheel right here. So they're guarding Kelsey, but then you got Pacheco right there on that wheel route. And that corner route's going to push any of those flat routes to the sideline, hopefully, and then you can throw that inside. Let's see if we can get the spot route open right here. We do. It gets open. Those zones are sinking too far back. So, yeah, it's a great play. It has great spacing as well. The next play right here is PA verticals. And what PA verticals is really good for, it's a bomb type of play. Now, when you are running verticals, the PA verticals right here, you want to have your bunch on the wide side of the field. Just helps with the better spacing. Now, I typically like to put a Texas route on my running back and then a streak on circles. Streak on circles necessary, but against cover 3 and cover 4s, this is going to be wide open down the field. Triangle is going to get open. And as you can see, against cover 3 defenses, finally, I get this post open. Jesus, dude. The offensive line can't block worth nothing. So there is also a match beater. So any type of cover 4 quarters right here. We're going to go into cover 4 quarters. There is a match beater out of this. So once again, you're going to have your PA verticals to the wide side of the field. And then we're going to put a corner route right here. We're going to route stem it all the way down. And then we're going to put triangle on a streak. And then you can put your running back on a Texas route or whatever. Or you can just keep them blocked. It doesn't really matter. But as you can see right there, boom, wide open with a good pass lead. You should have a touchdown every single time. If you get a good rack animation too. If you guys are enjoying the video though so far, hit the subscribe button and the like button. It means the absolute world to me. These videos do take a while to make, record, edit, of course, and I'm putting you guys in a bunch of free game. So do something free for me. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and let's get into the rest of these plays. So that's really it about gun bunch tight end. But also there's things to audible too, like gun bunch spread nasty. Now for your audibles in gun bunch spread nasty, first play is Z swirl in. We got inside zone, just in case I want to run the ball. Shock halfback wheel, and then we have motion snag under. So like I said, you want to be in gun bunch tight end, then audible over to gun bunch spread nasty, but just for the sake of time, I'm not going to. I'm just going to come out in the play. All right, the first way I like to set this up is putting square on a post. I like to put X on a drag, and then triangle on a flat. But your first read is going to be X on this drag right here. If it's open, take it. Now, that was pretty good man coverage, I'm not going to lie, but what make this play really good is this whip, or backside whip right here with DeAndre Hopkins. Now, you know, it just is so good because you have this flat pushing all those flat routes to the sidelines, and then you're going to have the circle, you know, the little swirl in route right there. And then if nothing else is open and they guard up on that, now you have square on this little post right there. He should have caught that. I don't know why he didn't. But your second play is the shock halfback wheel. Now, you can have a cover 3 beater, and putting circle on a route stem down corner route, having X on a streak, and then route stem this fade route right here 4 times up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. Then square on a drag. Now, since Kelsey is kind of slow, I don't think it's going to really get open, but I can try. But like I said, Kelsey isn't that fast, so I don't know if it's going to really get open. It got open. It got open, just was a bad throw. All right, I'm not going to spend too much time doing that, but as you can see, that definitely did get wide open. The cornerback bit down on DeAndre Hopkins, and it was an easy dot if Mahomes threw it accurately. Well, the next play we have is motion snag under right here. And now, if it is man coverage, that little whip route on the left side is pretty nice. But usually I like to put a flat route and then having triangle on a streak. So my running back streak, have a flat route to push all those flat routes to the sideline. And then right here on this right side is absolutely nasty. You have this quick in-cutting drag right here, which is just so good at beating man and zone coverage. I mean, look at that. Boom, right there. I mean, it didn't do that great of a job, but sometimes you'll get like a nice rub. Your second read right here is circle on this little like delayed route. Look at this. This is an absolutely nasty route that like stops, then runs again. So you can either throw it as like kind of like a hitch, or you can throw it as like a delayed little like slant. And that's really it about gun bunch spread nasty. You have a few nasty plays in there, no pun intended. And then over here on trio halfback weak. Now, I don't really like to like sit in this formation too much. It's not really, in my opinion, that great, but I do like a few plays out of here. In our audibles here, we have the RPO alert bubble, a wide zone, we have verticals, and then we have PAY cross. When run this play, you want your trip side on the wide side of the field. That is very important. And our first thing is just the RPO alert bubble right here. This thing is actually pretty solid. I probably shouldn't have thrown that, but the linebacker just didn't react to it. But right here, it's man coverage. I don't really think you should be running this formation if you think it is man coverage. Maybe Kelsey on this corner, but I don't think you should be running this formation if it is man coverage. But my first zone setup is having triangle on a flat route, having R1 on a wheel route, and then having X either on a trail. You can put him on a corner. You can put him on a streak to hit him up the seam. But I usually like to keep a streak. But sometimes I'll do a trail route. It's a little unique, and not a lot of people expect it. But there you go. Perfect. Everything gets to the sideline right there, and now you have that wheel up the field. Hopefully you can get a rack animation and then get that up maybe, 20, 30 yards. This route is absolutely nasty. Right here, if it's a vert hook, you can throw that triangle route right there if they don't have no flat out there, or they're resorting to extra zones to try to guard Pacheco. Or I think this crosser does a decent job at meeting man and also can get underneath those zones as well. If you throw it early enough, if you wait too long, it can be a little sketchier of a throw, but right there, I mean, wide open. And that crosser does a decent job. So the user's basically gonna have to choose: are they guarding X up the seam? Are they guarding circle, the crossing route, or are they guarding, R1, the wheel route right there? So like I said, that's really it for trio halfback week. Next formation is trips tight end. The trips tight end out of this is pretty nasty. My audibles for it are the PA slot corner, verticals, Z cross, and QB zone. I don't really recommend QB zone for regular teams because quarterbacks just fumble all the time unless you're like in the red zone about to score a touchdown. But I am going to come out in this orbit PA halfback wheel. Now, the reason I came out in the orbit PA wheel play is because it's kind of glitchy. What I mean by that is if you put circle on a route, right, your cheat motion, and put Kelsey on like a corner route right here, I put circle on a drag, watch this play action, and you're able to roll outside like almost an auto rollout right here, and you can throw on the run. Yeah, see, as you can see, that corner out is just going to be out there by the time you're able to roll out. Try double teaming that right side guy as well. So this right end, sometimes that does the trick as well, and you're sometimes able to, you know, block him and really get out there. Yeah, now we're really out there, and we're able to throw a circle. It's kind of tough, you know, especially if you're rolling outside pocket. If you got a faster quarterback as well. Patrick Mahomes isn't even that fast. If you're doing it with someone like Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts, it's going to be even better for you. But the first setup for Z-Cross right here, I like to put a streak on circle or X, and then have square on an in route, and then triangle on a flat. You can put R1 on a flat as well. I typically like to, because I just like to send 5 out. But this in route is absolutely going to torch any type of man coverage. It's going to get underneath those zones as well. And once again, I like to have my trips on the wide side of the field. I don't know if I mentioned that. Next play is the QB zone right here. Not much to say. I mean, you just hike the ball, go up the middle with your quarterback. It's really good in the red zone. I wouldn't really recommend running it just out of the blue, because you definitely can fumble. The third play right here is verticals. I'm sure everybody in the mother knows verticals, but come out in verticals and put your running back on a streak, or you can put them on a flat route, or you can put them on a Texas route. You can really do whatever you want with your running back. I like to put them on a streak usually, and then a flat, but I usually like to put them on a streak right here. And as you can see, nobody is even checking the running back right here. That tight end is pushing everybody deep. So right here, this tight end corner is absolutely just going to torch any type of man coverage. I mean, that tight end corner is super good, and really hard to guard out of trips as well. A lot of cover threes, you can throw triangle, but right now they're kind of boxing it. Triangle, you can throw up the seam if they're shading down. Right here, look at that. Triangle right up the seam. Look for that triangle seam route right there. It can be very good. And then, you know, circle on this little crossing route. You can throw right there, just right in the heart of the defense right there. And it's so hard to guard verticals, because you can quick snap it as well. My second setup is putting circle on a zig. So you're going to need Hot Route Master for this. Triangle on a flat. Square on a deep dig. Or you can just put them on a regular in route and then stem them up. But I like to put a deep dig. And then you can either have R1 on a Texas, streak, or flat. But for this example right here, I'm going to have R1 on the easy running back streak. And then right here, your first read is just circle on this whip route right here. This is especially good in the red zone. This play is actually really hard to guard in the red zone. Right here, as you can see, square on this deep dig is just super nasty. If they're guarding too low on that zig route, you can absolutely throw that deep dig, and it's so good. PA slot corner is our next play though. And then we have X on a streak, circle on a streak, and this is how we're looking. Basically, we're just trying to look up the seam to X really quickly. Hopefully, you can get X right up that seam. Your second read is circle's not going to really get open against many defenses. Circle's more like a clear out, but your second read is going to be square on that drag. And then third read right here, we're going to look towards this post with Xavier Worthy. That's going to get wide open, since X and circle are going to be pushing all those zones deep. You're going to be able to throw that all day. Your next formation is the double Z close, and I mainly use this for the Y sail. I feel like Y sail is obviously one of the better formations in Madden 25, but I typically like to run it where my running back and my tight end are on the wider side of the field. Now, typically when I'm running Y sail, I like to have X on a streak, so a seam streak, and then having triangle on a drag. Now, what it's going to create is just a read from X to R1 to triangle. Hopefully, you can throw X right up the seam for easy touchdowns. If they run a cover 2, I mean, it's done. Looks like it's going to be some sort of man coverage right here. It's not, but triangle wide open right here. Since the flat is pushing all those type of zones to the left right there, you can throw that drag right in between and, you know, find a nice soft spot, able to turn it up for a few yards. But don't forget about this running back flat. This running back flat can be pretty dangerous. You know, if nobody's guarding it, you can get a nice 5-10 yards. Right here, we have circle on this deep dig right here. You just got to wait a little bit longer than most, you know, especially if they're not shading down. It's really not going to be that open, but if they're not shading down, you're going to have triangle. So they got to either shade down for triangle, or they're going to have to shade, you know, shade up for that deep dig. But coming over to bunch Y flex, this formation is actually pretty good. My audibles are the motion drive zig. I have inside zone, I have smash return, and I have motion inside post. I never really run this play, but when you are running gun bunch Y flex, it is very important that you have your bunch on the wide side of the field. And the first play I'm going to be going over is the motion drive zig. My first setup is having square on a streak, triangle on a flat route right here, having X on a drag, and then having circle on a custom stemmed in route. So route stem that about, I'd say about 15 yards, 10-15 yards right here. And the play, what makes this play money is this whip route at the end right here. Now, right here, X on the drag is obviously going to get open right here, but that R1 route with the with that little whip is just super good. Now, I'll try to focus in on this whip right here this time. As you can see, R1 gets wide open underneath those zones, and you can turn it up the field for a lot of yards, especially if those linebackers are playing pretty far back. Your last and final read is this little in route right over top, and boom, that is like the perfect, like, that is literally like the perfect example right there. If they guard too much on that drag and that, especially that whip route, you can throw that right in a pocket over the top. My second setup for this is, again, having it on the wide side of the field. I like to put a flat on my tight end, having triangle on a Texas route, having R1 on a streak, and then having circle on a post. Now, what this is going to do is going to create a high-low between triangle and circle, but it also has this unique little whip route with X. So we're going to motion over, cheat motion, and this route is absolutely nasty. Hopefully they don't get insanely pressured. They are rushing 5, but against most zones, you can throw that right in between, you know, a hard flat and a hook curl right there. But right here, we're going to try to look for this Texas route underneath. Hopefully we do a decent job at blocking, because we have not been doing a good job at blocking. So triangle on this little Texas route right here. So you're just going to be able to throw it underneath those zones, and then, you know, obviously circle is distracting them up top. And as you can see, this post is going to get wide open since the streak is pushing everything deep. My second play is the smash return. This smash return is actually pretty good. Having X on a streak, and then that's really it. Well, now, circle on this whip route. That's really what makes this play super good. Having R1 on this drag right here is super useful now that he gets a really good rub, too. So, yeah, gun bunch, what's called gun bunch Y flex is just super good because there's a lot of commotion over on that left side, and sometimes you can get a good rub as well. But right here, this Travis Kelce little in route right there, absolutely nasty. Can I just say that? It's absolutely nasty. But that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, learned a thing or two, and if you did, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.